Okay, so to continue our coverage over Grant Morrison's Batman, we do pick up with the return of Bruce Wayne, part 5 and part 6. Now, these last two chapters are really important when it comes to Grant Morrison's run on Batman. And not just because we see Bruce Wayne come back to the present day, but at the same time, we do learn the actual plan of Darkseid. This really does wrap up Final Crisis just a couple months or a year later. And what I mean by that is, in Final Crisis, we saw Darkseid kill off Bruce Wayne, and we were left to believe that Bruce is now dead, to only find out he did not die. He was sent back in time. Now here's the thing. When it came to Darkseid, he used Bruce Wayne as a backup plan. Like he seemed to know he was going to lose in Final Crisis. But he also knew if he was able to take Bruce Wayne and put him in the past, Bruce would fight his way back to the present day. And so he technically made Bruce to be a time bullet. Because in the earlier chapters, we were told if Bruce Wayne comes back to the present day by himself and not guided by someone else, he could technically end all time across the world, which means that Darkseid could technically win. Now in these two chapters right here, we are actually told the true plan of Darkseid when it comes to Bruce Wayne. Now remember, when he does get sent back in time, when he was sent back in time, he did not remember anything from the present day at all. He had no idea who he was. Now every single time he would travel forward in time, he would remember just piece by piece of his past life as Batman. And that right there is very important because now he's kind of remembering who he is and who he was. And so he's trying to get back to the present day even more. But the problem is though, if he does that, that means he could technically be the time bullet that Darkseid wanted him to be. Now, here's the thing. In the present day, Red Robin and the Justice League are trying their best to bring back Bruce Wayne, but in a different way, trying to not allow him to come back by himself. Because again, if he does, it's game over. And so their goal is to find him and then guide him back here. Now we saw in the earlier chapters when it came to Superman, Booster Gold, Time Hunter, and I want to say Green Lantern as well, they went to the very end of time, the vanishing point, to find Bruce Wayne. And when they did, they were confronted by an evil Bruce Wayne. And so we know that when it comes to Bruce Wayne traveling in time, he'll reach that point right there. He'll reach the very end of time. But the question is how and why? And so getting into the opening chapters of this book, we do pick up with Tim Drake currently talking to the Justice League about everything I just told you guys a moment ago about the idea that Bruce Wayne cannot come back to the present day by himself. Now, this is where you have Red Robin tell us more information on why Batman is not allowed to come back here by himself. And he says, listen, every single time he moves forward in time, he is gaining more and more Omega energy. And once he does reach the present day and release that energy, it could be a huge problem across the board for Earth or possibly the universe as well. And so that is why they have to find him and then find a different way to bring him back to the present day without the idea of him doing some crazy thing for Darkseid. But getting back over to Bruce Wayne, we kind of find out what point in time he's actually at. And we kind of find out that he's at the point in time where the Waynes had just died possibly a couple days ago. And the reason why I'm saying that, because remember, at the end of our last chapter, our last video, Homeboy got shot. What did was push forward in time. Now, with him being shot, but also being pushed forward in time, when he did arrive, you had some random folks in Gotham take him to a nearby hospital where he was able to recover. And that is the moment he's confronted by a lady known as Marcia Lamar. Now, when it comes to Lamar, she's here to ask Bruce Wayne to be a detective to figure out who killed off the Waynes, Thomas and also Martha Wayne. Now, the reason why, because Martha was her best friend. And so you're kind of believing like, okay, this means this chapter is going to be about Bruce Wayne trying to figure out who killed off his parents. Now, we already know who did. It was Joe Chill. But the thing is, Bruce Wayne does not completely remember everything from his past life in the present day. And so he's kind of like, wait a second, you have no idea who I am. You see me laying here in the hospital and you feel like I'll be some kind of great detective that's going to help you solve the murder case of your best friend, her husband. I mean, I guess I'm down, but it's kind of weird. And so he does join her and they begin the process of trying to figure out who killed off the Waynes. Now, the first thing we do see Bruce and Marcia do is pay a visit over to the parents of Martha Wayne. Now, this is technically Bruce Wayne meeting his grandparents, but not realizing that those are his grandparents that he is currently talking to. Either way, this is the moment we come to find out the parents of Martha Wayne never did like Thomas Wayne at all. And the reason why? Because she heard, the mother Martha, she heard so many dark secrets about Thomas Wayne, especially one, that he was a devil worshiper. Now, technically, she is right. There is a Thomas Wayne out there who was a devil worshiper. It's just that it's not the father of Bruce Wayne who was. There was another Thomas Wayne. Because we had learned in the earlier chapters of Grant Morrison's run on Batman, we were introduced to a character known as Simon Hurt. Now, when it came to Simon Hurt, we had learned that he was actually the ancestor of Bruce Wayne that had gained immortality. Now, how he did that was, in his past, he was confronted by a creature known as the Hyper Adapter, which of course gave him his immortality. Now, with that being said, he was also a devil worshiper. He worshipped Barbados, and for his entire life, he has been trying to find the treasure that belongs to Barbados. Now, with that being said, in the present day, he was pretending to be Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father. And so when it comes to the parents of Martha Wayne, they didn't meet Thomas Wayne again after he had supposedly died. They met Simon Hurt, who was pretending to be Bruce Wayne's father. And when he did pay them a visit, he told them all these different kinds of lies. Like, yeah, I'm still alive. Matter of fact, I cheated on your daughter. Oh, by the way, I do worship a devil. He spread all these different kinds of lies. And so when it comes to the parents of Martha Wayne, they're saying, listen, the dead body the cops found next to my daughter is not Thomas Wayne, it's someone else. But on top of that, I want you guys to find this man and bring him in, because I feel like he is responsible for the death of my daughter. Now, you do have Marcia take Bruce over to Wayne Manor. Now, around this point in time, Wayne Manor was actually abandoned. And the reason why? Because when it came to the younger version of Bruce Wayne, he had actually left the state, or really the country, as a way to get away from the idea that he just lost his parents. Now, she does tell our Bruce Wayne, the older version, that when it comes to Wayne Manor, it has been abandoned for months. Now, she also mentions the idea of the caves underneath Wayne Manor. Now, we have seen the caves in the earlier chapters of this series, but she says the caves underneath Wayne Manor were technically used as a way to worship a devil, of course being Barbados. Now, here's the thing. She did say that this place, Wayne Manor, has been abandoned for months, except when it comes to our Bruce Wayne, he does find a secret passageway. And when he does, he realized that this was used recently, which means that she is lying. Now, that is when we jump over to a character known as Carter Nichols. Now, when it comes to Carter Nichols, he's meeting up with Simon Hurt, of course, being the ancestor of Bruce Wayne. Now, the reason why, because Simon has been paying Carter a whole lot of money and giving him different kinds of resources to be able to create some kind of time box. Now, we have no idea what this time box could possibly do, but when it comes to Simon and also Carter, they are talking about the idea of time traveling. The thing is, though, to what point in time? Either way, it does seem like Carter is down, and not because of the money or all the resources he has been given. It's really more the idea that Simon says, if you try to decline working for me, I will basically do something horrible to you. But then we jump back over to Wayne Manor. Now, when we do see Marcia telling Bruce, or really reminding him about the society that used to worship a devil underneath Wayne's Manor, of course being Barbados. And so she believes the society is still around, and the leader of that group is the real killer of the Waynes. Now, we already know the real killer of the Waynes is Joe Chill, but we are left to believe that could have been a lie. The real killer could have been the person who was actually the leader of this group. At the same time, it could still be Joe Chill. And so what she wants to do is do a surprise attack. And so she gives Bruce a costume to wear, a bat costume to wear. And the reason why, because his father used to wear these costumes at different kinds of gathering. And so he is going to pretend to be his father, while she pretends to be his mother, Martha. And the reason why, when the society arrives at their spot to do their worshiping, the leader of that group is going to see two people that he believed that he had killed. But then might think that right now he's seeing ghosts who are there to hunt him, to scare him, to make him feel guilty for what he did. And so they're hoping that it'll just scare him good enough to confess that he is the killer and the case is closed. Now, this is the moment we kind of find out that this was actually a trap. That matter of fact, when it comes to this society, they're better known as the Black Glove. Now, that's a name we heard of in the earlier parts of Grant Morrison's Batman run. And matter of fact, they appeared in the present day, being led once again by Simon Hurt, and he was trying to use them as a way to go after Batman. And so now at this point in time, they were just some group out there who used to worship the devil like Barbados. And so with that being said, when you have Bruce appear wearing that bat costume, they are not scared of him at all. Matter of fact, they know, hey, you're here, perfect. You're part of our game plan for tonight. And before he is able to figure out what in the world is going on, he is knocked out from behind by Martha. And so it's kind of like, okay, yep, she's part of the group as well, which means that they plan on using him in some kind of way to achieve their goal to hopefully please Barbados. And so we come to find out that Bruce Wayne was actually tricked to become a sacrifice for the Black Glove. They're trying to please their devil, Barbados. They feel like if they are able to give him up, then they'll get in return eternal youth from their devil. Here's the thing. Even though Bruce Wayne is right now bound to a chair, set on fire, the dude does not give up, to the point where he does break free and he grabs the time box that Carter made. Now remember, we had no idea if the time box could work, but on top of that, where it would take someone if they actually use it. And so once you have Bruce Wayne break free, he grabs that box and he's gone. Just like that. He disappeared into time and we have no idea where he went to. Now, with that being said, you could say everything is still a-okay for the Black Glove. And the reason why? Because they could just get another person to sacrifice and make sure that person is wearing a bat costume. But on top of that, just have Carter create another time box. Except you have Carter say, no, I am not going to create another time box. Because this man already had doubts about this group. And so after seeing what he saw and what they were trying to do, he's like, no, I'm out of here. And matter of fact, all my secrets are not for sale. You will never learn how to create a time box, which means that your plan will always fail until you are able to find someone else who could do what I did for you. But getting back over to the present day, with the Justice League and also Red Robin, they're still trying to get ready for the idea that if Batman does arrive in the present day, that all time is ruined. And so they're trying to think of different game plans on how they are going to handle that problem. The problem is, though, Batman does appear wearing a Batman suit, but he looks completely different. Like he's kind of half cybernetic, half human. And it does look like he could be here to cause a lot of problems for the Justice League and probably the rest of the world. And so then we get into the final chapter of this book, the most complicated chapter of this book, where we see Batman arriving at the vanishing point. Now, the vanishing point is basically at the end of time. As a matter of fact, it's at the very end of time. And so in a few minutes, the end of time is about to happen. Complete destruction across the board. Now, with that being said, though, when it comes to Batman, he arrives there, he's confronted by the Archivist. Now, when it comes to the Archivist, they do inform Batman that they were able to remove the hyper adapter from him and actually keep it contained. Now, remember, the hyper adapter was sent by Darkside as a way to torment Bruce Wayne, kind of help him move forward in time so that Darkseid plan can move a tad bit faster. Now, the hyper adapter is also the same reason why Thomas Wayne, Simon Hurt, was able to gain immortality. But here's the thing though. When it comes to the Archivist, they know they have to send Bruce Wayne back in time to the present day. The catch is they have to make sure he does not remember anything at all. That is very, very crucial. Now, with that being said though, the only reason why, because it'll make sure Darkseid plan does not work. This is the chapter we find out what is Darkseid's true plan is. Now, with that being said, this takes place right before our heroes who were looking for Bruce Wayne in the timeline arrive at the vanishing point to hopefully find him. Because remember, in the second chapter, Superman, Green Lantern, Booster Gold, Rip Hunter, they all traveled here to the vanishing point to hopefully find Batman. And they did find Batman, except when they found Batman, it was him being turned into an Archivist. And we were left to believe that Homeboy turned evil, and now he will go back to the present day to hopefully destroy time. We come to find out that is not completely true. Now, when they do arrive, they did come with a time spear. That time spear is going to be very important. Now, getting back to the present day, when he does arrive in the present day, this is not your normal Bruce Wayne. This is a Bruce Wayne that was infused with the technology that came from the Archivist, but also the Omega energy as well. Now, with those two things being part of him now, he's actually able to go toe-to-toe with each member of the Justice League. Now, when he does arrive, he is confronted by Tim Drake, Red Robin. Now, at this point, Tim Drake looked at Batman as a father. And matter of fact, they were so close that when Batman died, Tim Drake was the only person who believed originally that Batman was not dead. Now, after a while, once he was able to prove that Batman was not dead, other folks got on board. But that shows how close these two characters are. And so this is Red Robin just saying, hey, talk to me. Fight through what's taking over your body. We can work this out. Unfortunately, when it comes to the League, there's no time to talk. They have to take down Batman because right now, all their sensors are detecting that Omega energy, and they are afraid what could happen with that Omega energy. But getting back over to the vanishing point, we pick up with our heroes who were looking for Batman on the timeline, the ones who arrived at the vanishing point to hopefully find Batman. When they found him, Homeboy dipped out and he took their time spear, leaving them there to die at the end of time. Except we come to find out Batman made sure they also had a way to get back to the present day because he gave them another time spear that was just under construction. And so that bubble they're trapped in is a time spear. Once it's done, our heroes now have a way to go back to the present day as well to help out the other members of the League stop Batman and to finally end all of this mayhem we have been getting in this entire series. And so getting back over to the present day, we do see the League still trying to stop Batman. The thing is, because he has tech that comes so far from the future, he is able to adapt so easily, being able to take them down so easily. And so with those different things happening, unfortunately, they're getting their butt whooped by Batman left and right. Now again, this is a Batman who truly does not remember anything at all. Now, once you have the League being defeated, you didn't have Tim Drake once again try to talk to Batman. to help him remember who he is. Like, hey, I'm Tim Drake. I was your Robin, you're Bruce Wayne, you're Batman, the whole spiel. And once he's able to get those gears moving, it's Batman once again being able to remember his time in the present day. And then he explains why he did all of this for when it came to leaving the Vanishing Point. Now, this is where you have Diana come in, Wonder Woman, and she used the lasso of truth on him. Now, when she does, it's basically her saying, tell me everything. And he does. He said, when I arrived at the Vanishing Point, I was confronted by the archivists. They told me they were able to contain the actual beast, better known as the hyper adapter, that was sent by Darkside to follow me through time, to kind of push me in the idea of remembering everything of my past life. The thing is, though, it would only stop once I had remembered everything. And so when I reached the Vanishing Point, they made sure to erase everything once again to help me out, to send me back here. And the reason why? Because the hyper adapter will then feel like it failed. If I did not remember everything, it was going to continue to follow me. And so the archivist basically erased my mind. Once again, I forgot everything. I came here and the hyper adapter had to follow me here, because this is where we'll be able to actually defeat it. Now, here comes the next problem, because the hyper adapter is there. It's right now infused in the body of Bruce Wayne. It's now taking over the actual archivist tech. And so this leads into another problem. But then Diana realized there's something more to this plan. And so this is where everything comes together finally. So you have Batman explain to us that when it comes to Darkseid, Darkseid is trying to come back to life. He's trying to basically come back to life after dying in Final Crisis, except he needs a host. Because remember, when it comes to gods, new or old, when they do die, their essence go over to a regular human body. And then they are able to take over that person's body as a way to become themselves all over again. We literally saw that in Final Crisis. And so this is Darkseid trying to do that once again. Like, he knew that maybe in Final Crisis he would lose. And so he had a backup plan. Now, Bruce Wayne is not the person that he has chose to use as a way to come back to life. Instead, he chose Simon Hurt, Bruce Wayne's ancestor. When it came to the hyper adapter, when it did confront Simon many years ago, I want to say in the 1600s, it was all for one purpose: to begin the process of Darkseid slowly taking over Simon's body. And so when it comes to the hyper adapter that's right now fused with the tech of the archivist that's on the body of Bruce Wayne, is trying to leave his body, or force Bruce to find Simon and then leave Bruce to get on Simon to begin the process of bringing Darkseid back to life. Now, after a few more pages, you do have our heroes being able to actually stop this, but Batman has to help out. They have to rip the tech off of him, which they're able to do. And you would think the day is saved now, because yes, Simon Hurt will no longer become Darkseid. Yes, the hyper adapter is gone. The day does seem to be saved, except that is not correct. And what I mean by that is because thanks to Bruce Wayne having that Omega energy, it now turned into Omega radiation. And so right now, Bruce is dying. And the only way to get rid of that radiation is to die. Literally, it will only leave your body after you die. That is very crucial. And so what our heroes do, they find a way to kill off Bruce Wayne. And the thing is, they'll keep him dead just long enough so that the radiation will leave his body. Once he does die, then they'll bring him back to life. The thing is, Bruce has to fight to live. If he wants to live, he has to fight for it. And at first, it seems like he's not fighting. It seems like he might die. And so Darkseid still might win in some kind of sick way by killing off Batman. Except you didn't have Tim Drake walk over. And once he does, you have Tim say, hey, Batman, Gotham City needs you. And just like that, bam, Batman gets right back up. Because when it comes to Batman, the one thing he will always wants to do is to protect Gotham City. And so as soon as he hears that, he's back up, and this leads into a series of one-shots called The Return or The Road Home. Sorry, yeah, they're called Batman The Road Home, where he basically confronts different characters that were close to him in some kind of way. So Dick Grayson, Damian, Tim Drake, Selina Kyle, all those different characters. And then it leads us right back into Batman and Robin Must Die, the second half of that storyline. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.